Hello students, that the new chapter that I am going to explain about the book It So Happened, and the chapter's name which I have written on the board, Princess September. It looks very funny that the name of the person that it may be according to the name of the month. If suppose that in our family there are so many persons, and just to remember all the names, it seems to be very peculiar, very strange. We might have the sensation of forgetting. So why not that we should use some extraordinary or some common name so that they can be identified by announcing their names. So likewise, that how come that one of the princes that whose name was kept as September, so from the month of the year. So likewise that we are going to explain to you. The king or queen of Siam had many daughters, and the queen said that it confused her to have to remember so many names. One day the king decided to call them January, February, March, though of course in Siamese, till he came to the youngest, whom he called September. The king of Siam had a peculiar habit. Instead of receiving gifts on his birthday, he gave them. One year on his birthday, not having anything else handy, he gave each of his daughters a green parrot in a golden cage. The princess was very proud of their parrots, and they spent an hour every day in teaching them to talk. Presently, all the parents would say, "God save the king," and some of them would say, "Pretty Polly," in no less than the 7 Oriental languages. So this is the story of the Siam, that in old world that the Siam, actually that now it has been converted the new name, that is Thailand. So once that there was a king and the queen also in the country of Thailand, that is Siam, and they had many daughters. So the queen said that it confused to them to have remembered for so many names. So just to remember it very well, that they kept the name of their daughters in a very peculiar way, that is on the name of the month. So that the eldest one was named January, then February, then March, and respectively April, May, June, July, August, and the last one, that is the 9th daughter of their king or queen, that her name was kept as September. So now, for birthday celebration of the king, in fact, that he had a very peculiar habit every year, that he never used to receive any gift from anybody, but rather that he used to give the gift to them. So during the birthday celebration of the new year, that again that the king in fact did not receive any gift for his birthday, but rather that he gave some of the peculiar gifts to his daughters, as at present that he did not have any gift to give them. So immediately that he gave to each other of the princes the green parrot in the golden cage. So though all the princes became very happy, and they taught them, I mean to say that they taught the parrot that may live, I'm sorry, once again, God save the king. So all the parrots that actually they learned the group of words, that was the God save the king, and some of the parrots that they also spoke the pretty Polly. I don't know that what the mean of it, but this is actually that taught to all the parrots to speak the pretty point. So the parrots that spoke these words in 7 Oriental languages means that the 7 different languages that they could be able to speak. But one day, when Princess September went to say good morning to her parrot, she found it lying dead at the bottom of the golden cage. She burst into a flood of tears, and nothing that her maids of honor could say that comforted her. She cried so much that the maids of honor, not knowing what to do, told the queen, and the queen said that it was stuff and nonsense, and the child had better go to bed without any supper. The maids of honor that wanted to go to a party, so they put Princess September to bed as quickly as they could and left her by herself. And while she lay in her bed, crying still even though she felt rather hungry, she saw a little bird hop into her room. She wiped her tears and sat up. Then the little bird began to sing, and he sang a beautiful song all about the lake in the king's garden and the willow trees that looked at themselves in the still water and the goldfish that glided in, and out of the branches they were reflected in it. When he had finished, the princess was not crying anymore, and she quite forgot that she had had no supper. So this was a very nice song. So one day that it so happened that the Princess September, early in the morning, that she wanted to wish to her parrot as a good morning. As she went over there, that inside the cage, she found that the parrot was lying dead. She became very sad, and she started crying. The tears also streamed out from her eyes, and she burst into tears. And the maids attending to the princess, they were also very much confused. So immediately that all the maids that they reported to the queen. That queen was also very much confused. She also did not know that what to do. So she suggested that the daughter must go to the bed without any supper. Since all the maids, they also wanted to attend one party. So leaving her alone, that they all went away. And the Princess September, that she went to her bed, and even though that she was very much hungry, and after some time that she saw a little bird that was hopping, H-O-P-P-I-N-G, hopping. Hopping means to give the small jump. So the word stuff, S-T-U-F-F, stuff also has a different meanings. But here in this book, that stuff means to get confused. So the bird again that began to sing a very beautiful and a sweet song on the willow trees. So this willow tree means that this is the name of a particular tree that is called the willow tree. And there that the water was flowing, it was also very cool and calm. And inside the pond, there were so many goldfish. They also stopped swimming, and rather that they also started listening the beautiful song sung by the bird. And the bird was sitting on the branch of the tree, and she was singing very beautifully, very in the sweet voice. So when the bird finished her singing, then the princess also that stopped crying, and she completely forgot that she had no supper. So there was, and the princess also had to realize that really that it was a very nice song. So here that one sentence which has been written, the second last sentence, she had no supper. So now here double had that it has been used. Had. What do you think that which tense that doesn't belong to? Actually that it belongs to the past perfect tense. Past perfect tense, subject plus had plus V3. So now have a look, subject, then helping verb, and then after V3. Also that it has to do the had. So don't you call as that the last of the had is an auxiliary verb, of course, and one hand that which is called the auxiliary, but with some other hand that it also acts as a main verb. So that this is actually that is V3. So in what respect that you can write the word had as a verb 3, that is main verb. So I just wanted to give you the clue. So somehow that you also must have a little knowledge of the language part also. That is, I'm writing just V3. So which are those V3s that on behalf of that, on instead of that, that the word had can be written? The word received, the word obtained, the word got, the word gained. These all that I have written the verb to. And on behalf of this, these are very much common. The word received means to gain something. Even obtained also to gain something. Got means also that it gained something. And gained also that it got means that it gained something. Means receiving something. All have the common meaning. So on behalf of this, as a V3, even one more word also is can be written. The word eaten, that is the V3. So instead of these V3, you can write over here the word had also. Now let us thought for sentence. Generally that it is used, I have eaten food. So which tense does it belong to? This is present perfect tense. Have had plus eaten. So this is a V3. You can write like this also. I have had food. This sentence is also very much correct. So on behalf of this eaten, that I have written the had over here. So this sentence is also very correct and looks very beautiful. Whenever that you use certain kind of to write any paragraph or a lecture or somewhere that in literature part that you will use this kind of the verb also. So it will look very beautiful. So now the question is that why do we actually learn the language, that is the grammar? That we learn the grammar for two purposes. One is to make the sentence very correct. And second one, to make the sentence very beautiful and attractive. By using the different vocabularies also. So vocabulary is also a part of the language that is called the grammar. So likewise that the same thing also that it can be used. Since that is appeared in your literature book, so I could not stop to myself, and I would like to give you the knowledge about that, how to use the word had and a degree in different tenses. Present perfect tense, past perfect tense, future perfect tense, that we know very well that the third condition of the verb is used. So whichever the stone that I have shown you the verb formation, the word received, the word gained, the word got, the word obtained, the word eaten. Instead of this, by using the V3, that you can use the word had also. Thank you. The little bird gave her a ball. Would you care to have me in place of your parrot? Said the little bird. It is true that I am so pretty to look at, but on the other hand, I have much better voice. Princess September clapped her hands with delight, and then the little bird moved on to the end of her bed and sang her to sleep. When she awoke next day, the little bird was still there, and she opened her eyes and said, "Good morning." The maid of honor that brought in her breakfast, he ate rice out of her hand, and he had his bath in her saucer. He began to sing again so beautifully that the maids of honor were quite surprised, for they had never heard anything like it. The Princess September was very proud and happy. "Now I want to show you my 8 sisters," said the princess. She stretched out the first finger on her right hand so that it served as a perch, and a little bird flew down and sat on it. Then, followed by her maids of honor, she went through the palace and called on each of the princes. And for each of them, the little bird sang a different song. But the parrot could only say, "God save the king," and Ricky followed. At last, she showed the little bird to the king and the queen. They were surprised and delighted. "I knew it was right to send you to the bed without any supper," said the queen. "The bird that sings much better than the parrots," said the king. "I should have thought you got quite tired of hearing people say, 'God save the king,'" said the queen. "I can't think why those girls wanted to teach their parrots to say it too. The statement is admirable," said the king, "and I never mind how often I hear it, but I do get tired of hearing those parrots say the pretty following. They say it in 7 different languages," said the princess. I dare say they do," said the king. "But it reminds me too much of the counselors. They say the same thing in 7 different ways. It never means anything in any way that they say it." So then after the little girl, after singing the song, that she bowed down her head. It means that he bent down his head. That was in her honor. And then after, the bird also asked the princess whether that she would like to keep the bird inside the cage instead of parrot or not. So the bird also said, "Yes, I am not so pretty to look at as like a parrot. But on the other hand, that married princess, that you please also that know very well that I can sing in a very sweet song, in a very melodious tone." So Princess September that became very happy, and she clapped her hands with the happiness. The word delight, it means that is happiness. And the little bird also hoped on the end of her bed, and again that he sang very beautifully to make her sleep. So when the princess again that woke up in the next morning, the little girl the little bird also that cheered her in a very clear tone by wishing the good morning. Even that the maids of the servant also that they all brought the breakfast for the princess. And from the princess' court, the bird also ate the rice from her aunt, and also he had a bath in her saucer. Saucer is a kind of a tub that you can see. So there also in princess' tub that the bird also had a very beautiful bath. And then after that, the bird actually started singing. Even that the maids also heard her singing. They were also very much surprised that how beautiful that the bird was singing. Because that the maids also, they had never heard this kind of a beautiful song in their lives. So really that now the Princess September was very proud and happy to have the bird. And since that the princess also told the bird that she wanted to show the bird all of her sisters. So that she stressed, as you know, that how does actually that the bird also sit on the perch, the word perch, P-E-R-C-H. Perch means to sit, S-I-T. So that the princess actually stretched her arm just like that, and by showing the forefinger that the bird sat upon that. And then after, one by one, that the princess actually took the bird in their respective systems, like January, February, March, April, then May, June, July, August. The princess had 8 sisters, and the princess was having the 9 sisters. This is the difference. Suppose that you are having the 3 brothers, along with you there are 4, so you can say that you are 4 brothers. But since that while putting the word have, it means that you have the 3 brothers. So one by one, Princess September actually that she took to her own that respective sisters. And for each and every sister, the bird also sang the different songs. And it was a very melodious song sung by the bird. They also became very happy. And they realized that why do we also that we keep the parrot inside the cage? It's just like a parrot, that they all used to emit the sound, that long live the king, or the pretty Polly, except these that the parrots were not able to sing songs. So they were also very much fed up. Even that the king and the queen also came to know that the Princess September has got a new bird, that which actually sings so beautifully, so melodiously. And for this reason, that they were also very much fed up. They thought that all the time, even that the courtiers also, that the ministers of the king also, they also that, as like a parrot, they used to wish to the king that long live the king, long live the king. And moreover, that they were not fed up with these words, but rather that they were fed up with that why do actually parrots wish or that say, that is that the pretty Polly. For this reason that they were also very much fed up. So, even though the courtiers, the parrots, that they repeated in all the groups of the world in 7 different languages. And for this, that the king also agreed with this statement. But it was also that they also wanted to have a new change in their life. The princes were vexed at this, and the parrots looked very glum indeed. The Princess September that ran through all the rooms of the palace, singing like a lark, while the little bird flew round and round, her singing like a nightingale. Things went on like this for several days, and then the 8 princes put their heads together. They went to September and sat down in a circle round her. "My full September," they said, "we are sorry for the death of your beautiful parrot. It must be dreadful for you not to have the big bird as we have. So we have all put our pocket money together, and we are going to buy you a lovely green and yellow parrot." "Thank you for nothing," said September. "I have a pet bird which sings the charming songs to me, and I don't know that what on earth I should do with the green and the yellow parrot." "Well, my dear," they say, "it's absurd to talk of the bird when the little fellow that flies in and out just like he likes." They looked round the room and raised their eyebrows. "Do you mind our asking that where your bird is now?" they said. "He has gone to pay a visit to his father-in-law," said the Princess September. "And what makes you think he will come back?" asked the princess. "He always does come back," said September. "Well, my dear," said the 8 princes, "if you will take our advice, you won't run away any risks like that. If he comes back, and mind you, if he does, you will be lucky. Walk him into the cage and keep him there. That's the only way that you can be sure of him. But I like to have the fly about the room," said the young Princess September. "Safety first," said the sister ominously. They got up and walked out of the room, shaking their heads, and they left September uneasy. So, by hearing this kind of conversation among all the sisters, that the princess, all that the sisters of that the princess, that they were vexed. The word vexed, V-E-X-E. Vexed means irritate. So here is V2, that is second partition of the verb. So that is called irritated. So by saying this, that the princess also were very much vexed, very much irritated. And the parrots also, by listening to all the conversation, that the parrots were no more used of except that the little bird, that daily and different songs were sung by the little bird, but that also in a very melodious tone. So they were also very much glum. So glum, that word meaning, as you given in your book, that they also became very sad. So Princess September, after becoming very much delightful, very much happy, that this Princess September ran all over the palace. And she also started singing like a lark. And why? That the little bird also flew along with her. And of course, that he sang just like a nightingale. So things went on like this for several days. And even that the 8 princes, they also had a discussion and they took out a new decision. And simply that they all went to the Princess September and that told that, "Dear September, that we are sorry that for the death of your parrot. That you did not worry. We will buy that another parrot for you, as we have saved the pocket money." But the Princess September refused to have another parrot. She said that what is use of keeping the parrot? Instead, that rather that she will actually put that the bird in her hand or in her cage, so that day and day that she can hear a very beautiful song sung by the bird. So one day that it so happened that the little bird went out for some days. The princess also came to her and she asked about the bird, and the princess said that of course that now she has gone to visit her father-in-law, and after some time that again that he will come back. Now all the princes raised the questions that suppose the bird does not turn back, then what will happen? Then Princess September says, no, beforehand also that the bird went away out, but during that given the specific time, that bird also returned back. However, that all the princes did not agree with the Princess September. And then after that they all suggested that now, see, that if that the bird comes back, better that you should keep that bird inside the cage, so that you will not be worried about it. Pork hens, the word pork, P-O-P, pork means to put, to keep the bird inside the cage. This is the only way that you can be very much sure. Otherwise, that outside perspective may be that the bird also will be very much honest. But suppose that the bird meets any accident, suppose that the bird also meets any emergency, so there is no surety whether that the bird will return to the prince's hand or not. So it could be better that the bird actually that should be kept inside the cage. As they were discussing to each other, immediately that the bird also raised on the spot, and the bird said that no, that I like to roam here and there. I like to fly over here and there. And then after that, they all walked up from the room, shaking their heads, and the Princess September was very much confused that what decision should she make, whether to keep that bird inside the cage or just that she would give him the complete freedom. So this was the explanation about the part 1 of Princess September. During my next class, that I would like to explain to you about the Princess September, that is the part 2. Word meanings. This is a complete storage of the vocabularies, the word storage. Nowadays that we find that the students are very much lagging in having the word meaning. Even for the small words also that the students they do not know. So it is my suggestion that you must maintain the word meaning, that whatever that it has been written into the book. And at the same time, the certain words also that you will meet which will seem to you as a very difficult one. So why don't you refer the dictionary? You have the complete free hand. It is very good that we are teaching you through the online classes. But it doesn't mean that you should also keep your study in a very restricted time. No. You are completely free at your home. You can go through the so many words meaning. Try to understand that what exactly is your sentence that it has to give. Like so many suggestions that I can give it to you, but you will be thinking that just like a useless that the explanation I am going to give it to you. So it's not like that, my dear. Teacher always that wants that the student also should be that up to the mark. Thank you. And wait for the another part 2.